All right. Hello. How's it going? So this is a really short story. No commentary at the end. It's just a quick story about a space marine and a chaplain kind of being disillusioned. And then things happen. It's short. It's sweet. There's only 2 characters. 3, I guess. But I just thought it'd be fun to kind of write. It was in my head, so figured I'd just put it on here. But probably a couple hours to write, a couple hours to, well, it took like a day to get all the images and then put this video together and stuff. But that's been a lot better than 2 weeks. So I might make more of these kind of short form videos, 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long, you know. And then I'll also be doing the more long-term 60-minute, 120-minute fucking long ones. So I hope you guys enjoy this. It is called The Echoes of Heresy. But yeah, if you like it, please like, comment, subscribe, and thank you. Okay, wait, actually, before we start, I wanted to give a thank you to, it's a user called, and I might say this wrong, Acorny, I think, 5421, sorry, but he did a buy me a coffee thing, and he donated some money, and that kind of helped with this story's narration, because it costs money to do the AI voice narration, so I just wanted to thank him. That was pretty cool. Thank you. Enjoy the story. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. Enjoy.
In the Stygian void of space, Redemption's edge glided like a phantom, her hull whispering tales of millennia-old wars to the cold, indifferent stars. I, Brother Cassian of the Imperial Fists, stood sentinel over this silent congregation of souls, my gaze fixed upon the infinite dark. War had been my sanctum, a relentless liturgy of blood and honor. But as dawn's first light threatened to breach the horizon of some distant world, doubt, like a heretic's whisper, began to erode the bastions of my faith. The chapel aboard Redemption's edge was a sanctuary, not of peace, but of solemn remembrance. It was here, beneath the stern gaze of the Emperor's effigy, that I sought counsel. The weight of countless lives extinguished by my hand, once a badge of honor, now felt an anchor dragging me towards an abyss I no longer understood. The chapel, bathed in the soft glow of sanctuary lamps, held the silence of a grave world, a fitting audience for a confession of heresy. Chaplain Lucius, his armor adorned with the litanies of the faithful, stood as the Emperor's shadow, an unyielding monument to our creed. Yet, in his presence, I found no judgment, only the quiet patience of a storm. "Chaplain," I began, my voice a low thrum against the chapel's hallowed stillness. "I stand before you, a warrior of the Imperium, harboring doubts as treacherous as the warp itself." His gaze met mine, an ocean of calm in the tempest of my confession.
"Speak, Brother Cassian,"
he intoned, his voice the embodiment of the unbreakable vows that bound us to the Emperor's service. The mind is the Imperium's first line of defense. To guard it against heresy is to protect the soul of humanity itself. My words faltered, a dam against the tide of confession. On the fields of battle, amidst the chorus of war, I have seen the Emperor's light guide my blade, felt his wrath flow through my veins. But in the quiet that follows the storm, when the screams of the fallen echo in my skull, I find myself questioning the purpose of our endless war. Is it righteousness that fuels our crusade, or is it madness? Lucius's expression remained impassive, a mask sculpted from faith and iron.
"Doubt is the enemy's most insidious weapon, Brother Cassian. It seeks to undermine our resolve, to sow discord within our ranks. But to question is also to seek understanding. Tell me, what is it that you seek?
I seek absolution, I confessed, the words a balm to my frayed spirit. Or perhaps understanding. In the sea of blood we wade through, is there truly salvation to be found?
The path of the righteous is fraught with sacrifice.
Lucius replied, his voice a beacon in the darkness of my doubts.
Salvation is not granted by the Emperor's hand alone, but forged in the fires of our faith. Our war is eternal, not because of the hatred that fuels it, but because of the hope that endures. Hope for a future where the light of the Imperium vanquishes the shadow of heresy.
As dawn's light finally breached the void, casting long shadows across the chapel's sacred relics, I realized that my confession had not brought the absolution I sought. Instead, it had opened the door to a deeper communion with the chaplain, a shared burden of doubt and faith. As we prepared to embark on our suicidal mission, I could not shake the feeling that this war, our eternal crusade, was but a prelude to a greater revelation, one that would challenge the very foundations of the Imperium. Part 2. The Confession. The eve of battle aboard the Redemption's Edge was a time of quiet introspection, a rare moment of peace amidst the eternal storm of war that raged across the galaxy. I, Brother Cassian of the Imperial Fists, found no solace in the silence. My soul was a tempest, racked by visions of the countless lives I had extinguished in the name of the Emperor. Each death, a weight upon my conscience, each victory, a hollow echo in the void of my doubts. As dawn's first light threatened to breach the void, I sought refuge in the chapel, a sanctum of faith within the steel heart of our cruiser. The air was heavy with the scent of incense, the walls adorned with relics of our martyred saints. It was here, under the watchful gaze of the Emperor's effigy, that I found Chaplain Lucius in solemn prayer. "Chaplain," I began, my voice a mere whisper, betraying the turmoil within. "I find myself at a crossroads, haunted by the spectre of doubt. I have slain in the Emperor's name, yet I question the purpose of our endless crusade. Is it righteousness that guides us, or is it but a veil for our own savagery?" Lucius rose, his presence commanding yet comforting.
Brother Cassian, doubt is the shadow cast by faith. It is natural to question, to seek the truth behind the veil of our convictions. Speak freely. You are among brothers here.
His words, a balm to my restless spirit, encouraged me to voice the heresy that had taken root within my soul. On the battlefield, I see not the glory of the Imperium, but the endless cycle of death and destruction. We preach the Emperor's will, yet I fear we have become the very darkness we seek to vanquish. The chapel fell silent, the weight of my confession hanging in the air like a shroud. Lucius approached, placing a hand upon my shoulder.
The path of a space marine is fraught with sacrifice. We are the Emperor's sword, his wrath made manifest. Yet, even the most steadfast warrior can falter under the burden of such a destiny.
I looked into his eyes, searching for condemnation, but found only understanding. "How do you endure, Chaplain? How do you reconcile the blood on our hands with the purity of our cause?" Lucius sighed, a rare moment of vulnerability breaking through his stoic facade.
Faith, Brother Cassian, is both our shield and our burden. I, too, have wrestled with the darkness, questioned the righteousness of our actions. But I have come to understand that our sacrifice is not for our own salvation, but for the future of humanity. We are but instruments of the Emperor's will. And through our service, we uphold the light of the Imperium in this dark universe.
His words stirred something within me, a flicker of hope amidst the shadows of doubt. And if our service is in vain, if we are but pawns in a game beyond our comprehension. Lucius clasped my shoulder tighter, his gaze unwavering.
Then we shall play our part with honor. For in the heart of every space marine burns the unquenchable fire of the Emperor's spirit. We fight not for the certainty of victory, but for the belief in something greater than ourselves. Remember, Brother Cassian, in the darkest hour, it is faith that guides us home.
As we stood there, warrior to warrior, I realized that my confession had not weakened me, but had forged a new bond between us. Lucius had offered no absolution, for there was none to give. Instead, he had shown me that even in the midst of doubt, our faith could be our strongest weapon. The chapel's sanctity enveloped us, a beacon of light in the endless darkness. As I departed, my heart heavy with the burden of our conversation, I knew that the coming battle would test not only my strength, but the very foundations of my beliefs. The eve of battle had passed, and with it the shadows of doubt lingered, a silent testament to the price of our eternal war. Part 3. The Mission. The void of space surrounding Redemption's edge felt charged with anticipation as we prepared for the mission at hand. A heretic stronghold, a blight upon the Emperor's realm, awaited our judgment. The night before our departure, the weight of our task lay heavy upon my shoulders, not merely as a physical burden, but as a spectral shroud of doubt that clouded my thoughts. In the war room, Chaplain Lucius outlined our strategy with precision and solemnity.
Brothers,
He began, his voice a clarion call to arms.
the stronghold we face is a nexus of heresy, a festering wound upon the galaxy. We are the Emperor's chosen, his wrath incarnate. Today, we cleanse this taint with fire and blood.
His words stirred the familiar fire within me, a blaze that had defined my existence. Yet, beneath the surface, a cold current of uncertainty threatened to extinguish that flame. As we donned our armor, the ritual felt different, each piece a shackle binding me to a fate. I no longer understood. Lucius approached, his gaze piercing the veil of my turmoil.
Brother Cassian, your spirit seems troubled. On the eve of battle, it is not uncommon for even the bravest warriors to falter.
I met his gaze, finding in his eyes a reflection of my own doubts. Chaplain, in our quest to eradicate heresy, have we become blind to the cost? The lives we take, the worlds we scorch? Do they weigh upon you as they do upon me? His response was measured, a careful tread upon the sacred ground of our creed.
Every life taken in the Emperor's name is a prayer for the salvation of humanity. Yet, it is not our place to question the divine will. We are but instruments of his justice.
The words should have comforted me, yet they rang hollow. As we embarked upon our drop pods, hurtling through the void toward the heart of darkness, I could not shake the feeling of being a pawn in a game whose scope I could not comprehend. The stronghold loomed before us, a monolith of corruption against the stars. Our descent was met with fierce resistance, the air crackling with the energy of arcane defenses. The battle was a maelstrom of chaos, a tempest that threatened to drown us in blood and fire. Amidst the cacophony of war, Lucius and I found ourselves isolated from our brethren, navigating the twisted spires of the stronghold. It was here, in the shadow of heresy, that we stumbled upon a hidden chamber, its walls lined with ancient texts and forbidden lore.
These writings,
Lucius murmured, his voice a whisper in the din of battle.
speak of a time before the Imperium's ascendance, of worlds united in peace and understanding.
The revelation shook me to my core. Could it be that we, in our fervor, have lost sight of what we fight to protect? Is there room for peace in our eternal war? Lucius pondered my words, the conflict evident in his furrowed brow.
Perhaps, Brother Cassian, in another life, we might have been scholars, seeking understanding rather than conquest. But in this galaxy, we are warriors. Our duty is clear, even if our hearts yearn for a different path.
The discovery within the stronghold only deepened my conflict, a schism between duty and conscience. As we fought our way through the heretic hordes, each victory felt hollow, each life taken a question left unanswered. When, at last, the stronghold fell, the silence that followed was deafening. We had achieved our objective, purged the heresy from this sector, yet the cost weighed heavily upon us. As we returned to redemption's edge, the void between the stars felt wider, an abyss that stretched not only across space, but within the depths of my soul. Our mission was a success, yet I could not escape the feeling that we had lost something irreplaceable. The texts we discovered, the questions they raised, they lingered like ghosts, haunting the edges of my thoughts. And as I looked upon Lucius, his visage marked by the scars of countless battles, I wondered if he, too, felt the echo of doubts that now plagued me. Part 4. Echoes of Heresy. Returning to Redemption's edge after the mission, the corridors that once echoed with the purposeful strides of warriors now seemed to whisper with specters of doubt and despair. We had purged the heretic stronghold, a nexus of chaos and corruption, but the victory was ashen. The words of Chaplain Lucius, laden with hidden truths and heretical musings, weighed heavily upon me. His vision of a more nuanced Imperium, one that embraced shades of grey amidst its stark morality, had infiltrated my thoughts, tainting the purity of my convictions. The debriefing was a solemn affair. As the details of our assault were recounted, I found my gaze drifting to Lucius. His stoic presence, once a beacon of unwavering faith, now seemed a facade masking a tumultuous sea of doubt. Our shared revelations, whispered amidst the din of battle and the silent contemplation of ancient texts, had bound us in a comradeship of questioning. But it was the arrival of Inquisitor Mordecai that heralded the storm. His presence aboard the cruiser was a cold wind that cut to the bone. With him came the shadow of the Inquisition, its inexorable will and implacable purpose. The investigation was thorough, unyielding, peeling away the layers of our souls as if they were parchment. My confession, born of a moment of profound doubt, and Lucius's teachings, which had once seemed a light in the darkness, were now evidence of heresy. The verdict was swift, a guillotine's blade sharp and unforgiving. I, Brother Cassian, was condemned to death for heresy, my loyalty and service to the Imperium rendered null by the poison of doubt. Lucius's fate was a crueler sentence. Deemed a corrupter, his heresy magnified by his position of influence, he was subjected to a mind-wiping procedure, repurposed as a servitor. The thought of such a fate for a man of his depth and conviction was a torment greater than any physical pain. In my final moments, I found no fear, only a profound sorrow for the path that had led us here. The chapel, where I had first laid bare my soul to Lucius, was now the stage for my end. The Emperor's effigy loomed above, a silent judge to the final act of my life. The blade fell, and darkness claimed me. Yet, it was Lucius's fate that haunted the ranks of the Imperial fists in the days that followed. His transformation from a revered chaplain to a soulless automaton served as a grim reminder of the price of doubt. The echoes of our heresy, our questioning of the eternal war and the nature of faith, spread like shadows, sowing seeds of unease. In the quiet moments aboard Redemption's Edge, as another dawn broke over the void, the whispers continued. Brothers in arms, bound by duty and faith, now pondered the truths that Lucius and I had dared to question. The legacy of our doubt lingered, a silent testament to the cost of seeking understanding in a universe that demanded unwavering conviction. The cycle of doubt, it seemed, would continue, a quiet reflection amidst the clamor of eternal war. The Imperium stood, as ever, on the precipice between light and darkness, its future uncertain. And in that uncertainty, in the shadow of our heresy, lay the possibility of change. For even in the grim darkness of the far future, where there is war, there is also hope.
So thank you again. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a fun little quick write for me. I don't know. Obviously the writing, the writings in the story, the scripts they find, that could have been fleshed out obviously so much more. But again, it's just a short story. Straight and to the point. No commentary other than that, I guess. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for more. I'm doing that Baneblade story still. It's gonna be a long one. I'm gonna throw in a couple short ones before I release that. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. Have a good day, or good night. Thank you. Bye. Stay tuned.